الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم آمين.
After a delighted confirmation, we made our way to meet Dr Ibrahim Kamara, a well-known scholar in Sierra Leone who spent the better years of his teachings dedicated to removing the shackles of cultural oppression that deterred women from learning about Islam beyond the 5 daily prayers. His aim is to restore the inner fabric that once strengthened our society at large, but this cannot be achieved without the synchronized support of our Muslim women counterparts. But as we know, with any external modifications to cultural predispositions, there is always backlash initiated by those who do not want change to happen.
The genesis of the problem is the background. There is a verse in the Quran which I like so much. It's Surah Yasin, which says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent the Quran, has sent the Prophet لِتُنْذِرَ قَوْمًا مَا أُنْذِرَ آبَاءَهُمْ to come and caution, to come and advise, to come and admonish a set of people whose parents, and particularly their fathers, did not advise them. That's why they are indifferent to some issues. So, we can say the reason for some people being indifferent to some of these values, say the value of hijab, because they did not meet it in their background. Clear? When people did not get something from the background right from the beginning, they did not get it as an example from their parents, it becomes very difficult to pick it up. That's why we who come to preach them have to take precaution, have to be patient, have to take time to use all methods to persuade them that it's not oppressive. You know, the Prophet was saying that every child is born in a state of innocence. Clear? The innocence of what is expected of it, innocent of the parent, innocent of danger. He said, but the Prophet was giving an accusing finger on the parent of the child. He said, if the child becomes a Jew or a Christian or a polytheist, he pointed the parent. Which means parents have a mandate. The mandate of what they understand Islam. And the mandate of them exhibiting Islam for their children. And the mandate of teaching their children correctly. Because that's the home. When that happens, it's very easy for the child to pick up. And also sometimes along the way of life, the schools, where our children go, the primary school, the nursery school, the secondary school, the universities. And when people don't get the continuity, they tend to easily the feelings of mercy, it's cultural. That's why the bad media, is perfecting their minds. They can be very good. Don't feel because they are not wearing hijab, they are not good here and there. But it needs to be nurtured. The hijab issue, for example, it came lately. It came after so many years. There was nothing like an injunction about hijab, in Makkah. No, in the early part of Medina. It came as one of those issues, which means it was like the issue of stopping wine. It came a little late. Now, this is because people have to understand why we do this. We have to help them to know why do we do this. Like I said, when they know the advantage of that is for their own personal security, sexual harassment. Clear? It's the woman that needs to because she by herself she has a lot of trials, and these trials have been answered in the Quran. They have been answered in the Quran. If there is anybody who should read the Quran, understand the Quran, it is the woman. But we have not helped them. I've always said a lot of people, we don't blame them, we blame sometimes even the way we put the message across. Clear? How do we help them? Also, this is my battle here. My battle of how to help these girls to learn. Here in Sierra Leone and maybe the communities, initially people feel that women should not be educated. Their life is tied to the kitchen. Clear? And they should not go to school. Of course, for some we understood the reason. Initially, people are afraid about what happened in the school, the issue of morality, the issue of their children being wayward. You see, but we have also to create our own schools to follow them up. to create our own madrasas in the schools. Anyway, a lot of development is taking place alone in terms of education of women. Women will not come on top. When you go to the colleges, universities, you see women coming out presenting. That's what Usman and Fodio said. This Mujahid, the first one, the first jihad in West Africa, Usman and Fodio. He said it's more mandatory for a man to teach his wife the Quran. That men who don't teach their wife the Quran, he said they're hypocrites.
For those who do not know, Usman Dan Fodio, born in 1754 and died in 1817, the founder of the largest state in Africa, commonly known as the Sokoto Caliphate, situated in parts of northern Nigeria. He was a religious leader, a father, a skilled poet who wrote over 400 poems in Arabic, Fula, and Hausa, and he authored many books around spirituality, usul hadith, Islamic law according to the Maliki madhab. Despite being surrounded by corruption, one of his greatest complaints was the lack of education provided for women. However, as leaders should do, so did he, and he led by example, and soon his daughter Nana Asma'u bint Usman Dan Fodio rose amongst the ranks. She had memorized the entire Quran from a young age, and then went on to study Islamic law, hadith, military science, and became fluent in 4 different languages. People respected her for her scholarly knowledge and her contributions to society. Just like her father, she was a skilled poet who wrote short couplets to help her students memorize in order the chapters of the Quran and other Islamic sciences. Many of her works are still available today. But this is not all. By the age of 15, her father and brother used to seek her counsel when it came to military strategies. What an inspiration for all inspiring female and male scholars alike. Indeed, she was West Africa's very own Aisha radiyallahu anhuma.
When Prophet got his mission, the first person he talked to was his wife. He persuaded his wife first. He talked to his wife. But do we do that? Do we the imam? Do we do that? These are all weaknesses. That's why we can talk about all these kind of issues. That he said people who don't teach their daughters. He said they're hypocrites. They abandon their wives like utensils. Said Usman and Fodio, Usman and Fodio of Nigeria, Sokoto, who led the jihad in 19th century jihad in West Africa. So he used to teach women. The Prophet himself gave a day to women. The women came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, you seem much more preoccupied with teaching men. He said, we the women, if you don't understand Islam, our husband will never be happy. Because it is women that indirectly control us with the men. Indirectly, the women, we are what we are as a result of our mothers. They bring us what they tell us is gospel, truth. We don't challenge it. See now, so which means, and you say we are women, we are daughters, we are sisters. Say give us a day. The Prophet gave a day to women. How many people know that hadith? He gave especially to only women he was talking to. That's why they got a lot of women scholars at this angle. And here, the same thing, not only here, even so-called Islamic countries. Today give scholarship women to go and learn Islam. No, it's only men. Ask them, the so-called Islamic countries, do they give women scholarship to go and learn? They say no. We seem to shy off from the women. Even in the mosque, imams don't come close to them. They say if I come closer to them, and they will say this. They go to the interpretation of the people. So we also have a problem. The problem of presenting. The problem is how do we come with these challenges? So that's why we're very happy about you. That's what we are doing. All these ladies you see, they're all in different institutions in the country. They're all in colleges. We encourage them to learn the Quran to go to college. Two of them are doing their first degrees, so they are about to enter university. And there's nobody to help them. So to be coming to help them, and also we are financially inadequate. How do we help them to go? So be consistent in their hijab, even in colleges. What happens when they come to college? Do we have a place for them to help them when they are being discriminated in some of these banks? Do we create our institutions? So sometimes the woman is afraid to wear the hijab because she graduates, she has a master's degree, and she wants to work, and there's no place to work. So let me tell you what, I get to job easily. And everybody has a right to survival. So Islam is a bipolar. Here you want to get it here. Allah says you should not neglect your portion here. So if we don't create a situation where in these people, when they graduate, when they get their papers, then they are quickly absorbed where they get, and they have a time to pray. It's a problem. These are all projects we should be thinking about in this modern time. The challenges of being a good Muslim woman. The challenge of being maintaining a balance. The woman goes to work, but she's given time to come back and maintain her family. Islam has not stopped women to work. But what's happening in the working places, we don't have a story to tell. We watch them in films and tell them what's going to happen. So people are not comfortable for their daughters to work in banks. What's happening in banks? What's happening to this so-called Sharia in the women are liberal. So the Muslims are very concerned. So we have to address these challenges. So that's why we don't easily say, oh, this is bad, oh, these are not taking it, oh, these people are not taking it, oh. There are many reasons. Fear. Fear of not getting a job. Fear of not getting an admission. Fear of harassment. So it's not while imams are preaching and persuade them, there should be people who will be thinking, what should be the answer? The realism. Yeah, please. That's why we need our sisters also to go and study the language and the mood of the language. So you have sisters who will be talking to sisters. That's why we need picking up some of these girls to go to business and get a degree and come. We say, could you be an eye to help your colleagues? A lady talking. There are so many issues, so sometimes it's very difficult for us men to talk. They have personal issues about the issue of menstruation. Who will talk to them? It's difficult for you to talk to women. Those people, the people about menstruation. You know about childbirth, the issue about the right of the intercourse in the bed. It becomes difficult. Even Prophet was even speaking to some women at a particular point, he was shy. So they need the Aishas. They need the Aishas. We have to create the Aishas of our communities who are very groomed in the Quran, very groomed in the Hadith, who are sincere in imparting the knowledge. So we have to groom a lot of Aishas in our community. They want to be, because they are taken away. You see, you have to understand it, because sometimes the picture, people will take advantage of talking about the Hadith, how women could be terrible, people could be sensitive. We are also suffering in so many where at a particular point, we don't want to associate, but we need them. You see now? So so many issues are involved. It's the same like the West. And we talk about the West, we are not there. We hear about those so many things. There is also the need for us to understand our situation here. Much effort to hear and mind is here. I have always asked, if I were a woman, they say let me wear hijab, would I wear this? When I think of what it means to wear hijab, I begin to ask. That's why Allah did not call the Muslim to wear hijab. It's not the Muslim woman that should wear hijab, it's the believer woman. Say, tell your wives, your daughters, and the women believers, for the Sa'il Mu'minin, tell your wives, and start to yourself, your daughters, and tell the wives, the believing wives, the servants. You need a so it did say the Muslim believer. So it takes a person to wear hijab. So you have to sympathize with them. You understand now? We have to understand the situation. We have to see the also there is also what we call this graduation. To allow them to absorb Islam gradually. They pick up and finally take. Some people say, this is why I don't want to hear hijab because I don't go to hospital. You understand now? Yeah, but tell them, God has said do this. You want to get a good husband. Well, do it first and ask God, God, I have done what you have come to do. Now it's a responsibility to give. So we have to help them. That if you wear hijab, it's left to Allah. You out of His mercy, Allah will give it to you. Because what you want has abundance. It's not so. So we have to pass so many angles at here to talk to our daughters. If you wear hijab, wallahi, it's not the riff-raff of society to what you do. Every beautiful woman, when I say any beautiful woman, I say, I call her the name of the dog. But a woman with hijab, it gives me a little time. It's like a private car. I'm afraid to raise up my hand. Because it's a private car, for any taxi, hey, come here. So a woman with hijab is a private car, that's what I'm car. Yeah, you are hesitant to call for a lift. But when we have this, they begin to see the essence. That you know, alhamdulillah, before it was difficult. But now it's alhamdulillah, you go to the university, you see hijab, you see teachers who are also wearing hijab in schools. So see a lot going on. Before it was difficult, but now it's become accommodating, especially where we have over 70%. We 70%. Yes, 70%. We are persistently Muslim in spite of all the effort of the masters. 70%. Just go on the internet, click the review. You'll be shocked. All efforts of the Ahlul Kitab, the colonial masters, to deflate this number, they don't succeed. That's what has worried them. Thank you so much.
In the next episode of Women in Islam, I was given the privilege to sit with Khadija Murrah, a tailor, caterer, wife, mother, and an Islamic teacher, and she welcomely shares her thoughts of being a woman in Islam.
If in a for motorman with the cover, we know the cover. If in a for motorman with the land Quran, we know the land. Just like how they rightly talk and say it hard. Yes, it's not really easy, but with time and patience.
Allahu Akbar. Hey, kushe, kushe, kushe. I'm going to give you 5,000.
Thank you.